All right, so this video is for anybody who was unable to connect through Zoom or had some issues, so you can have some actual data. So while I'm not going to tell you the numbers, I want you to be able to read them for yourself. I'll point out some important things, and we can still help you if you contact me. So let's try it out. The first thing is we've got, if I go back a little bit, we're measuring the Kleenex box. So as I take a look, there we go. One thing to remember, and I'm going to get this closer so you can see the numbers even more clearly. You do not start with the ruler at the edge of the box, because you take a look, the ruler does not start at 0. There is a line right here that's 0. So you need to line that up with 0. And so I'm going to get that right at the edge of the box, and then I think I can just slide this box over and keep the ruler in place. And so over here, you can see the reading, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should be able to count how many lines over. It does look like right where the box ends. I'll be honest with you. Yep, there is a hidden. I think I'm going to give that one to you. That looks like it's right on the 0.5 because it's difficult to see on camera. So remember, we're measuring in centimeters here. So you've got your length. Now, and we do part 2, we can use the same object. So we've already got the length for that object, but in order to calculate the volume, we need our other 3 measurements. So I can do the width. Get that lined up right at 0, and then try to hold it steady so nothing moves. The ruler, and then you should be able to get your reading down here for the width. And what I'm going to try to do for you is show you the height on camera. I think if I'm going to take this box, now to measure the height, of course I do it this way, but I don't think I can get that on camera. So I'm just going to rotate this, but this will be the height. And so there we are, we're starting. There we go. Get that lined up exactly as best as we can at the 0 mark. And move over. And you should, if I get rid there, I got rid of the glare. So you should be able to get the height of the box measured in centimeters. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to record the mass of the box. All right, so we were going to go ahead and take a look at the mass for the object as well, and a quick little primer about using the triple beam balances if you're unfamiliar. Right here, these lines should be pointing, this should be pointing right at the 0 to make sure that everything's calibrated. Now it is, it's going to wiggle a little bit when I move it up close, but just so you get a good idea. If you have nothing on here and everything's slid to 0, but it's up or below, you do have a calibration knob that is at the end. So you can slide this out or in. And it's kind of like a kid on a teeter-totter. If he goes further out, it makes the other side rise up. And if you slide it in, it makes the other side go down. So you always want to make sure that it reads 0 before you actually measure the mass of your object. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the Kleenex box up here. And you want to move, you have 3 sliders. You have the hundreds, the tens, and then the ones with the decimal points for the little lines in between. So we are always going to move the hundreds first. Let's go ahead and see where we are. So that side goes up. I move the hundreds over until it sinks. So there it sinks. I'm going to go one back and make sure you're in the notches here. I can zoom in on those in just a second. And I'm going to move the tens over until it sinks. When it sinks, you just go back one. So that's very close. I'm going to go back here. And now I start moving the 1 slider over. And then you just have to wait a second for everything to balance out when you get it to where you need. And you can make fine-tuning adjustments. Some people will take something like the edge of a pen or a pencil to nudge it over, because sometimes with your fingers you push down accidentally. I think I need to nudge it over just to, there we go. And that should balance out, hopefully right at 0. So there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what those readings are so you know what to do when it comes time to read them. So we'll move the camera here. And first of all, I'll point out, I was talking about these notches. So for example, this is at 200. You do not want it somewhere in between, because if it's right here, you don't know, is that 200 and something? Is it 280, 270? So you have to have them in the notch, and you can hear the click when they're there. So you just add these numbers together. So right here we have, sorry, I'm trying to get the camera just to the right spot. We have 200. In the back, it is at, let's get, in the back, it is at 50. And in the front, you can see where you're at the 7, but not to the 8. And so you can have 7 point whatever you say that reading is. And as you also see right here, it is in grams. So you may need to convert that to kilograms or milligrams, depending on the case. But every time you read this, they will be measured in grams. So you add those numbers up, and you have your total reading.